Yeah, first of all, really, really difficult game. Really tough one for me to stomach, there were some things, as I always try to tell you, there are some things that I thought were positive about the game that we can build on. But there's also a lot of places that there's still some work to be done. And again, up front, on the back end, up front on offense, on the back end on defense, and then special teams, the return decision-making of our returners. But here's what I'll tell you. No one's going to be tougher, or nobody can be tougher on us than we will be on ourselves and than what I will be on myself. And that's just how I'm built. We're here to build this team to compete to win championships. Nobody ever said that it'll be linear. Today we took a step back, and we're going to find a way to turn this frustration into something positive and productive this week. It starts with the next game, which we'll be able to hopefully use some of this from today as some motivation. But the one thing that I'll continue to tell you guys, we've got a good team, and I'm not going to let what just happened or some of the things that have happened in our past dictate the future of where we're going. And again, it'll start with me. We made tough decisions here the last couple of weeks that will take some time that will be beneficial for us in the long run. And I feel really confident that we can get this thing fixed and get it fixed sooner rather than later. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Mike, the turnovers in the fourth quarter, did it feel like things, they're separate instances, but did it feel like things were snowballing there?
It snowballed. We pressed. The thing we always try to pride ourselves on is not kind of looking at the scoreboard, but as you drive down, and we had 2 long drives, we get down in the red area, we don't come away with points. It's demoralizing. When I talk about complimentary football, it demoralizes you on defense some when you don't come away with the points that you expect to come away with. And to me, that's where, as I said, we'll find a way to take the frustration of some of the things. And we had, I think, a 17-play drive, used a lot of clock, but that's where we've got to be able to line up and find ways to finish those drives with touchdowns. And then, as you said, the turnovers, whether it's the fourth quarter or early in the game, you don't win games when you lose the big play battle and the turnover battle, and today we lost both.
Follow up the 2 fourth-down incompletions. For a team that's as young as the one that you've got, how tough is it to move past that?
It's not tough. I mean, we have to move past it. There's no other answer but to watch it on tape, figure out, obviously we got to do a better job of executing on third down and even on those first and second downs. And, you look at the statistics of it, we had a bunch of first downs but didn't convert on third down, which has been something that we've been pretty good at. And, today we didn't make the plays that we needed to make.
Mike, how would you account for the slow start, given, like what you said, you had to sit in a loss and you had an extra week to prepare for these guys?
You know what? It starts with me and making sure that I'm doing the things to jumpstart us. Defensively, I thought they got us the ball enough early in the first half. We had 2 terrible decisions: the fumble on the kickoff return, where you lose opportunities, man. And we've been opportunistic on offense. We're an offense that has to get those plays because of the type of skill we have. And when you lose a drive with the fumble on the kickoff return. You come back, you have the poor decision where we get pinned down at the 1, and we used a bunch of clock there, which to me we're still a block away, or running back maybe running through a tackle from those big plays happening. In the last two games, we haven't been able to hit the explosives the way we've been able to.
And the strip sack of Billy, I know you haven't seen the film yet. But
what
was the breakdown? What was the breakdown there?
Our left guard totally missed the block. Obviously, we prepare our quarterback. Things like that happen. I hate that it happened to Ike Bunyan. He's competed well for us up front. But got beat cleanly, and now the quarterback has to mitigate the risk of not just, giving up the football there. We got to keep 2 hands on the ball. It's tough. We'll get that stuff cleaned up. We didn't play very well up front. I didn't help us. I got to do a better job of helping us with when they're struggling. That's why we tried to run the ball there in the second half a little bit to take some pressure off of it. But again, these frustrations we'll use these frustrations to create some production this week.
Coach, Coach Gaddis up in the booth tonight. It appeared like you were calling plays. Was what was happening?
Yeah, I called the plays today. One of the things I talked about is when we evaluate where we are, and I thought for me, we're in the process of trying to create ways to be productive. And that's in all three phases. And one of my strengths is being able to help on the offense. It's a system that I know really well. Philosophically, I decided to take over the play calling today. Josh assisted me upstairs with the eyes. And, that's the learning curve because there's some, different philosophical ways that I call it compared to Josh. And I think you saw a little bit of that today. But that's where I think you'll see moving forward, the collaboration of how philosophically I want to call it, it'll benefit us, I think, down the long run. And Josh continues to serve as the OC. He's still a voice. He helps and collaborates and keeps it organized during the week. And it didn't work as well as we would like to see it work today, but it showed glimpses of what it can be.
And then follow up for you. You said that this one was tough for you to swallow. I think this is your guys' second worst loss to a non-ranked team. What about tonight makes it hard for you? Obviously the game in total, but is there anything in specific that just frustrates you the most?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's putting out the fires of a young team. 1 week is penalties. Today we had, I think, 3 penalties, so we get that fixed. And now all of a sudden the turnovers show up, which we haven't turned the ball over, and we made a big emphasis of that. The big plays are the ones that concern me, and that's where philosophically, with me becoming more involved and me taking over that part of it, continuing to find ways to generate these explosives for the Ty Feltons, the Roman Hembees, the Caden Prathers. And, what I'll continue to do is we'll continue to evaluate every phase of our program and continue to make the right decisions, which I have a lot of confidence that we'll be able to make those decisions.
Hey, Mike.
George.
Special teams, it seemed like you were behind the 8 ball pretty much all night from the return game to them pinning you back there with punts, specifically going to Ricardo instead of Braeden and kind of switching that up. What was the mentality behind that?
We are looking for consistency back there. We've had poor decision-making by our returners in the kick game. I mean, even late in the game today, we've let one get behind us, and those are the ones we got to be aggressive. Wiz got banged up the last game, and so we had to – Ock was down. We have quite a few returners that have been out there to help us. Ricardo's been one of those guys that we've been developing for about 2 years, and he's got the ability to make the plays because he's got a tremendous amount of speed. Got to protect the football, and to me, that's the part. Decision-making, protecting the football. Special teams only gets 1 shot, 1 kill, and we've had some poor decisions back there, and we've got to get that fixed, and I will.
And you had the opportunity late in the second quarter lined up for the middle 8 to try to capitalize on that. 2 chances. The one goes 3 and out. The other one, it's a long field goal try, which, you'd obviously love to be closer to try it or even get to the end zone. What were the breakdowns there and why that wasn't successful?
It starts up front right now for us. I mean, we're trying to make sure that as we bring along some of these inexperienced guys up front, and that's the part for me because of the system and having run it for so long, how to help us kind of protect these young guys, because they're really not young. Ike is a veteran player, but this is game 6 for him at left guard, and Andre Roy coming off an injury and battling through it. We've got to continue to find ways to help them. We tried to do that by spreading people out and running the ball today, which we were able to do effectively. But when you turn it over and you don't come away with points, and then you start chasing points, and I think that's kind of what happened there late in the third and fourth quarter. You start chasing, and right now, that's not who we are.
Hey, Coach. We've talked about the big plays this season, trying to pursue that. There were just 2 plays of over 15 yards in the first half, and the 2 scoring drives was 16-yard drive and an 16-play drive and an 18-play drive. Was that by design, or was that just failing to execute on the big plays today?
No, it's not by design. I mean, we have an explosive group of skill guys on offense, and again, our goal is to try to find ways to get them the ball to where they can make these explosives. I mean, Ty's made those explosive all year long. As you can see, Northwestern did and give them credit, they did a really good job of containing the big plays. I mean, we had a ton of first downs and 6 and 5 yard runs and catches, but we weren't able to make the one guy miss, which, that's something that we have recruited, the type of players that have that ability. And now what I've got to do, as we move forward philosophically on offense is continue to find ways to get these guys open in these situations and then now have them win. Northwestern found a way to do it. They only have 2 plays. I didn't realize only 2, but when you lose the big play battle and we lost the turnover battle, it makes it for a tough day. And for me as the head coach and the leader of this thing, that's why I'm really frustrated, because that's not who we've shown. We haven't turned it over like that. And then, we've got to find a way to make better decisions on the back end with our kicking game, because that's what's hurt us more than anything.
Coach, over here. You said in the summer that setbacks, failure, adversity, they're all part of a season. You mentioned those evaluations. What specifically goes into those evaluations to kind of get these struggles to an end?
What goes into the evaluation?
What are you really looking at as a whole? Is it because you've
Well, we
talked
know
about-
what the issues are. I mean, the issues show up in that right now, when you're inexperienced on the O-line, we got to do things that allow us to find ways to create value for them. And in the run game, you didn't see us in a lot of condensed formations like we've been in. And that's because it's right now as we come off and try to do the things, the best running game for us is to spread people out. And that complements the skill that we have. And today, when we ran the ball from those spread formations, we were productive. The problem we have is once we get down into that red area and we have those opportunities where we've got to come away with touchdowns and not field goals. We took a bad sack in the red area. That's decision making, and that's the stuff that, when I talk about being frustrated, these are the same plays that we made better decisions earlier. Today we didn't make those decisions, and that's the part I got to get evaluated is to figure out why. Thanks, guys.